delay that until until we get everyone here. So you got minutes in your email last week. We didn't print additional copies. Nope. So you have those to approve. So and we will. Yeah. You want to move them? Cool. Okay. Done. All right. Moving along. So I'll just go ahead and introduce. Oh, sorry. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We'll have also an introduction of new members. So Jim Campbell. Is Jim here yet? Okay, we'll introduce Jim in a moment. All right, Sandy, Fathering, where's Sandy? Sandy's here. Stand up, Sandy. Maybe, maybe not. Sandy comes to us. She's assuming Crystal Killian's unexpired term, so she's already. She's on Riverwalk. She's already been on the tour. She's gotten very familiar with the project. So thank you, Sandy, for filling in very much. All right, we'll introduce Jim at a later point. And you've all met Jim too. He's been on the tour. He's also been at the workshop last week. Okay, we got about an hour, and I'm going to do my best to keep us focused, because there are a couple of key things that we need to talk about. And I appreciate your amazing time that you gave last week. I think on gateways, my takeaway is we have some work to do on gateways. And so the gateway projects we learned today have some costs that we're starting to understand more of a frame of what those costs are, and so we're going to update you on that so that you can make some decisions that are practical, okay? On City Walk, I think our biggest topic of discussion is the bridge and just further refinement of that, and of course bringing everybody up to speed on the bridge. We will have just a little FYI at the end about where we're at with the Riverwalk interview process and that selection. But let's just, I'd like to start with gateways though. No, I said that wrong. I would like to start with City Walk. What you have in your handouts is everything that was given to us last week from AMEC Foster Wheeler. And that information is in a couple of different PDFs, which we can send you a FTP file, a link to a Dropbox or something so you can access it again, or you've got these hard color copies to take home. This is all public record information, so you can share it. But it's also very draft. So, when you're talking to your friends or neighbors or you have to, qualify it with all of those ideas in mind. So on City Walk, you've got on that front page a very difficult to read, zero to end picture of the super long map and the onion skin overlay. That was the sketching work that was done last week by the group. But just to summarize for those who weren't there, what you'll see is the far left-hand side of the page is 4th Street, and it runs then to the center of the page. That's Union Square, and then that page stops at that edge there, right at City Hall. No, just before City Hall. But basically, it's a double-barrel walkway, and 10 feet in some sections, up to 14 feet in other sections. And it's the yellow line. So if you're looking at the map, the yellow line, both north and south of the railroad tracks, is the City Walk footprint. There are some improvements to Union Square, and those improvements include creating more of a green. And so you see the two rectangular features there that takes up some of the pavement, and then certainly creates a green. It adds parking where the flag court was. So that's a change. That is in order to balance out the amount of parking being lost, because the City Walk does run on the north side of the tracks right there along that split rail fence as we know it today. So anybody have questions about that or any clarification that you need? So just know you've got these. You can take them and study them, talk about them. But those are the main features of the City Walk on what we're calling the west end for now. On the second page.
Andrew, if you want to add that
Yeah.
The south of the track by the post office, we had discussed that
Could go away.
There. Well, I think we should have something. I think we said, but it doesn't need to be the 14 foot.
Yes, thank you.
I think the park is going to lose the parking.
Right. Okay, very good. So that will get modified. Thank you. So the south side City Walk there can be included, but it won't do away with the parking. So it's hard to see any of that on this scale. But when we get back together with City Council on December 20th, we'll have bigger drawings for those. And when we send this PDF to you, you can zoom in and see a little bit more. Yeah, so a lot of discussion about maintaining parking, a lot of discussion about how the walkway will be used, where it goes in relation to the storefronts, how the sales on the square and the performance stage stays the same, but the green area becomes slightly lower to elevate the stage a little higher. I mean, the stage stays a little higher so that there creates a little more of a performance space in a grassy area. And then keeping the walkway adjacent to the stores and the seating areas. So you'll see all that there. I'm going to move a whole lot faster. There were a few other designs. The second page is Cooper Carey, landscape architect Gary's designs. Moving to the third slide, that is the current pedestrian bridge and the car bridge and the railroad bridge as our landscape architect envisioned it today. And the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or so pictures after that are the renderings for concepts for the pedestrian bridge. In the meeting on Wednesday, we let people walk around, look at those drawings, and I've got those. Maybe Kyle can pass those around. Why don't you send those around? Start with the back row there, Kyle. Send those all around, if you would. So these drawings then created a chance for us to have sort of an informal straw polling of preferences. But these bridge options range from very traditional designs to very modern designs. And the one that is the first one in your packet, the arch, seemed to get the most votes. And so while we aren't being formal about that vote, I think it gave us a sense of just maybe preferences and where to start, where to take it from here. So some of the things that we heard was that that sort of train trestle look seemed to fit in an urban area, that it had a modern feel to it, but also sort of craftsman with the stained wood. So if you can imagine that the arch there is a fairly significant arch, and it's a dark stained wood treatment, some sort of protected laminate, and then black cabling and black braces and things like that, and then sort of a modern treatment to the rail of the walkway. And this bridge actually sits in between the road bridge and the railroad bridge. Good. We also heard that people liked, if you turn the page to this next one, some sort of facade and some sort of edging or pillars or ends to each side of the car bridge and train bridge to dress those structures up. So if the railroad's not going to dress up the railroad bridge, but we have to, if you know what that looks like, you remember the Google Map image. It's probably rusty, it's just sort of what it is, it's a train bridge, but some sort of decorative feature that could go along with the first bridge, so adding to something that creates a facade on either one or both sides of the whole structure to bring it together. I've heard some comments about brick and maybe blending in with the mural district some. So we have this unique challenge. I mean, every time we explain our crafting hickory, we're in this juxtaposition between two worlds. We want to be forward-thinking, forward-looking, modern, attracting the young generation. We also have this history that's very important too. So how do you do both? And I think Ron Huffman understood that more so after we spent some time with him. And I think you can look at this I would call it a train trestle bridge, and think about how to articulate to him a slightly more modern feel, a little more edgy feel, and not anything that we've already seen. So we want to avoid that. And I sent him the Lake James Bridge, just so you know. I sent him that. I said, this is not where we are, and we don't want to be second behind the Lake James Bridge. But we certainly think that if you like this design, there are ways to strengthen it. If you don't want to go totally different away from that, I think we need to hear soon in terms of did we miss the mark on this selection of which a number of you liked. If that's sort of where people are, I think we just have to have a little bit of an honest conversation about that. But if you feel like you can communicate and work through me to communicate back to Ron ways to make this bridge stronger in terms of its architecture and its modernism. Yes. You just come on up.
I just want to challenge everybody to spend some time with these.
Okay.
And to think about what we've said from the beginning, and it's our trite expression, what is it? Just kidding. Iconic.
Iconic, okay.
So think about, as a visitor or even living here, the fact is this is going to be here for generations.
Yeah.
Is this or any of these the look that we're really trying to portray?
Yeah.
I don't think we need to get caught up in what neighborhood it's in,
Okay.
or the matching buildings around. Think about Charleston. Their bridge does not look like Charleston. Boston does not look like Boston. We need it to be iconic, and so I don't know. None of these are quite there yet.
Okay.
But I think Ron, I think he can get it there for us. But I want everybody to think it through.
Jennifer,
And
yeah.
also, looking at a rendition and then actually looking at pictures, I would suggest people actually look up Lake James Bridge. Because to me, I think it's a nice setting because Lake James is more rural, it's more rustic, it's wooded. It's a pretty setting for that wooden bridge. I don't know if it would be right in the middle of Hickory.
Okay. All right.
Also, you got to consider them as a collection, right? Each of them have a different look at each place. And think about the collection of what what's going to look like. Instead of doing it one-off every single one of them.
Okay. Good.
Well, we got several things to address, right? And do you want them all to look the same, or do you want them all different? You want one to be iconic, and one to look more traditional, so to speak? It's kind of what the overall look and feel is for the entire ride.
Yeah, we talked about that in regard to like out on the I-40 bridge, would that be more, and we talked various ways, of course, but would that be more modern and, up in, because of attracting folks, off of 40, and would this bridge be, however we make it iconic, would it be more integrated into the look of the thing, whether that's the way we go or not. So that we did talk about that a lot the other day. I don't think we are looking at just one style of bridge. I don't think so. Could be wrong.
Well, did you have a second bridge? And I think I've...
Can I say one more? I drove down through there again. I bet
Okay.
all of us have.
Yeah.
But coming from south and going that way, going back in, up 127, not the other way. But I thought about that 80, kept trying to think 80 feet on that really iconic modernist one. And I thought, my goodness, that would be tall. I mean, that would just be.
In a bad way or a good way? I'm trying to read your.
It was, for me, it was probably too much. It might not be, but that one right there, I just thought, wow, 80, I mean, it gets pretty much above the trees because of the way you're coming down a hill, you know, so. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't think that really got imposed.
I don't think. we got
Okay,
anybody
go to the
40
one that
foot.
did, Kyle.
The 40-foot one did, though.
That one.
I think that's kind of a marriage, a little bit more modern, contemporary. You know, the middle part could be changed, any of that could be changed.
Lights.
Lights,
Yeah, we
we
talked
really
about-
need
yeah.
that.
Okay, well, let's have it.
I think the 80-foot, Ernie commented, Ernie Sills, that he commented that he wasn't really sure that you could even,
Yeah.
the
that's-
footing required, and how far you
Yeah.
have to go to the ground.
For this one?
For the 80-foot.
For
one
the 80
behind
foot,
that.
okay,
We
okay.
don't even know about that.
We can flush that one.
So those are two very distinct bridges, the arch and I think you need to zero in on which direction are we going,
Yeah.
cables or arch. And we'll be, we'll be figuring out a plan to gather that feedback in the next week or so. But if we don't come to that level of detail to give back to the designer, he doesn't, he's just gonna sit, and we're gonna sit with him till we.
We've got to make that decision.
So just need to think about that. We won't belabor that point because we have some more things to cover. But I think he's heard our message loud and clear. We still need iconic. You all just need to have a soul-searching discussion or decision in your minds and feedback to us about which one works.
And we, to this day, we still cannot define what iconic is. Is it contemporary or is it traditional?
I always say Epcot, though. Remember, Epcot is supposed to be the city of the future. By the time you build a new ride, it's dated. To remember that with modernism, which I'm a lover of visiting one, but I mean, it's always ironic. And so you have to be careful with modern design because, it may not be appreciated in a particular time. So,
Well, if Charleston and Boston, you think those are gonna look weird?
oh, yeah, but I mean, Charleston is an exception.
A lot of years like that.
Okay.
So with all this unreadiness, with all these hard feelings over here, what are you really saying? But what are you really saying? Are you saying that you want this bridge to leave you feeling something? Are you saying you want this bridge to reflect every citizen in this city? Or are you saying you want to reflect just a certain viewpoint? What are you really saying?
Well, I think,
It's up to you. It really is. I mean, so I think, as a group collectively, we have to decide, but you're a part of this group. I think you need to decide that for you, and that's why you're here.
all right.
Well, the definition of iconic is widely recognized and well-established. So if a bridge is iconic, it ought to be in a lot of people's minds, oh, that's the bridge in Hickory.
That's my point.
You know, that it's one of a kind, it doesn't look like all other bridges, the Lake Moore Bridge. It just is widely recognized and well-established that traditional or modern, people would say, oh, there's that bridge in Hickory. It's something different about it, something that stands out, something that makes it all the time. And I'm not saying any of these are not iconic, but I'm just saying that's the definition. We don't have to get stuck in the past or the future. It's whatever people would remember. Say, well, that was really cool. I went to Hickory and I remember that bridge.
Then we have to figure out what ironic iconic means, but that's.
So I think for purposes of this meeting, we're going to know that you're going to be receiving more information from us, and we're likely going to be asking you to build off of that first bridge and the other bridge. And I don't know yet. I really don't. I'll figure that out.
I got one suggestion.
Mike, yes.
I think we're going to have opinions, and there ought to be some branding done to say,
Some what time?
branding done to say, what is it? I think the gentleman the point is really valuable.
Right.
The opinions don't matter, but what are we actually trying to do?
Okay, that's a great point. So we do have branding. We've had it for 5+ years now. Hickory Well Crafted can look at the information related to inspiring spaces for your guidance. You can look at just the branding itself, and there's a PowerPoint back on the city website that I can send you a link to again that talks about crafting hickory, materials, and all of that. So we don't think we need to start over. We have the brand. We just need to capture that somehow in this document.
Usually with a brand comes, at least from a business perspective, a brand essence, which says this is what I'm trying to leave people's impression with.
That's good. Okay, that's a great way to,
Like, for example, our brand essence, which we don't say to everybody is, it's brand connection for tomorrow's day.
okay.
We start with that, and then there's a bunch of stuff that gets built around that ends up visually establishing what we're trying to leave that in people's minds. So
That's
I don't know what we're
excellent.
trying to leave in people's minds, but I think that is what this ought to reflect. And if you just leave it to people's opinions, who knows?
Okay, very good. That's a great point. All right, we are going to shift gears to, so you have more PowerPoint information or handouts there. You've got some information on Highway 321. So what we're going to do next is, let's just go to the one with the gateway stuff. But I'm going to talk about 321 real quick. So we got an update from Bill Hood and with AMEC that it was confirmed 321 bridge is moving up 3 years in its construction schedule. That changes what we do with the Clement design. We only had 150,000 only, but in realistic numbers, that's not a lot for a gateway. We have 100,000 for Highway 70 in Clement. We would really, in order to do much of anything that we saw last week, would need to combine those and make it 250,000 at Highway 70 and 321. And my recommendation, if you're comfortable with that, when we get ready to think about talking to City Council, would be that we postpone the Clement and 321 gateway, that we seek out grant funding through STPDA or other sources for any improvements to that gateway that can happen in the next 3 to 5 years, as that project is a part of the DOT's 321 street, the road widening and the bridges. Move the dollars for the actual gateway to be a slightly more substantial amount that would help us have a more of a visual impact. So let's pull up the landscaping one. Okay, hang on. What we heard today, and Chuck and Kyle, just jump in if you feel you need to. So the bridge concepts presented are going to take up all our money, and that's just the bottom line. And so I don't know that as a staff I can recommend to you that we just do some random bridge treatment and nothing else. So just think about that. Those are concepts, and those to be fleshed out are headed well above the budget that we have. So, when you have a budget, it's hard to not want to do everything, but we'll have to dial it back.
All of this bridge concept?
Well, the ones that are the leaves, let's just say the leaves, and probably the spiral one, the double helix one. So think about that. To just sort of put that off, I still think there are ways to find money for that because it's a federal highway later on. But to look back at the landscaping, we were told that this plan is more than our 250,000 as well. Okay, so there's a lot of contingency, there's a lot of extra, it's a significantly sized interchange. So this is Highway 321 and 70. But if you were to think about the southwest quadrant, can you kind of point that out? The bigger quadrant there, I'm probably in people's way, and the northeast quadrant. See that one, those
Northeast is
two?
not that important.
Okay, those two quadrants are what you can see the most as you drive in both directions. In talking with the designers today, and our staff sort of making some good points internally, it's really about welcoming people into Hickory, not waving them goodbye. So think about that the southwest side of and southeast side of the gate of that intersection should be where we put that effort, and not the northeast side. Even though it'd be ideal, but we could work toward it. You could have, you have a diagram, you have plantings figured out, but southwest and southeast, doing those two sides of that interchange welcome you in a way that I think makes a huge statement. Okay, I'm not advocating for one over the other. I'm just saying to you, those are some things that we can't even afford all of what's in the southwest and southeast as we speak today, but we can get close to doing what you see there. I think we want to save some monies for some sort of art or sculpture or welcoming element. And so let's go to, so we need to think about, keep going, see where they are. Okay, no, let's go to the next one. I'll come back to that one. Where's the, okay. We've got several PDFs here we're dealing with. Yeah. Keep going. All right, well, let's keep going. The H's, okay. So keeping with the brand, keeping with well-crafted, I think the H does a number of things. It identifies Hickory, obviously. It looks like a structure. It has some architectural elements to it, and it can be something that I think yeah, I've lost my train of thought.
Is that the H name or the other H?
Well, there's more pages after that. Keep flipping. Yeah, keep going. So that H or the next one. The next one has the leaf, and I think we're going to be mixing our brand too much with the leaves at this point. But if you just thought about, and I'm being persuasive here, if you just thought about not necessarily this H, but an H, or some structural element that could serve as a gateway. Ralph, Dr. Griffiths is the one that said that last week. We need to have something that pulls people off the highway and maybe sends a sort of a youthful message to those driving by that they want to stop, or maybe this is just easy to turn at the H. I know you might not like the H. I'm not advocating for that H. I'm just saying that there's something in the $50,000 to $75,000 range is something that could fit in with that southwest, southeast landscaping, and we would stay within our $250,000 budget. Yes, sir.
The H, we haven't seen it yet up there. It's in the stuff, and I know I saw it, but the H with the little helix sitting over it.
Oh, that's fine. It's in there.
I know. But
Let's go to it. There we go. Yeah. I mean, any of them. I don't.
But is that one feasible? With
Yeah. All of those.
Then if you ever got money to tie in the other swoosh,
This helix on the bridge.
it would work.
Okay. All right, that's a good point. So I'm just trying to paint a framework for expectations, because mine got out of whack, and I really dressed down the consultants about that don't bring us something that we can't afford. And so the landscaping, though, is a good backdrop. The landscaping can also be as impressive as something that you remember. I can remember I can tell you exactly what the landscaping looks like in the Pinehurst traffic circle in 2005 for the U.S. Open, because it made that much of a difference in how I viewed the landscape in that town at that time. But I think landscaping can speak that well to us. But I think a structure is really also what we want as a part of the gateway. So something that we can afford, that's memorable, that's craftsman-oriented, that all of those things. And I think the leaves, while I was enamored with the leaves, and just, when you see things for the first time, you get, you just like a lot of different things and new and fresh. But if I'm way off, help me, but I feel like I need to give you some guidance, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was getting ready to say.
Now, so when you say that, just the hickory?
Well, with
That's
the,
not art, that's just a sign that says hickory. I think we need to step outside the box a little bit.
Okay,
To me, these look like a country club entrance.
okay. I do agree with you. I think they're not modernistic enough, they're not abstract enough. Well, we don't, well, we have $250,000 and we can afford about a third of the landscaping and nothing else. Or we can afford a bigger structure and nothing else. Or we can afford maybe some of the bridge work and nothing else. And I don't like those options either, but that's where we are. So I was trying in my slicing and dicing to figure out how you get some of each of most of the things that we get.
and I remind the people that weren't here last week, that you may know this already, but the white drawing of that is not necessarily the look that they were
Neither are those
shooting
crazy
for.
aliens.
Neither were, that's right, they weren't the look, so you could do different things with this. It doesn't have to look like a piece of white metal necessarily. I just wanted to be clear because.
Yes, very good point.
Yeah, Andrew, I think you're on the right track. I think the sculpture is something that is way finding direct people in the town, along with landscaping is the way to go. Without the bridge.
I agree.
But, okay, I'm seeing some nods, but if you're of the minority opinion right now, I would love to hear sort of where we can pick up your ideas and add to. So help me, Carolyn.
I think one of the things we liked so much about AMAC was Teresa's creativity.
I agree.
What set them apart, and I think we really need to give her a chance to come up with something a little more, between the glass leaves and the big A.
Okay, well, so I didn't mean to, so we did pass over the glass leaves.
Why couldn't that leaf motif be in the shape of maybe our logo leaf motif? Therefore, so the same idea, but
I think that's a wayfinding thing. Maybe.
It's our brand. We're back to brand.
I know it's wayfinding.
We are.
It needs to be, I think, something unique.
Dr. Griffith, let me catch you.
Because, our brand, how often do companies turn over brands, right? We're probably 2 or 3 years maybe from Hickory reassessing what our brand looks like and feels like, right? They change. We certainly wouldn't, I don't think, want to put in a structure that resembles that brand and then we move on from that brand as time elapses. So I really like the idea. In our last meeting, I didn't mean to be critical, but I said, hey, think outside the box and
Yeah.
turn it into these.
Therese?
Therese came up to
Yep.
me where she says, I didn't take offense to that. She's like, but I hear you loud and clear. So what are some thoughts about thinking outside the box
Right.
about some of these structural designs? So
Well, we do need to give Therese some guidance. Otherwise, we're going to have all landscaping, and I think you're right. We hired AMAC for a combination of talent.
Well, I thought that we should only do something on the bridge. He started talking, and since then I've thought about it. I think that's completely out. I think the direction we need to go is the one we're discussing now.
Okay.
Which is a little bit of landscaping and a sculpture, which is exactly what you said. But so, how much do we do? I mean, what direction do we want to push her? That's the question, I guess.
I guess also,
Well, let's eliminate one thing first. So where are you on the landscaping? Do you have critiques for it? Anything? Sal, let's go back to that slide. Thanks.
Love the serpentine wall.
Okay, and that does include a 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot gabion wall that's, hundreds of linear feet in some cases
River rock.
of river rock. Yes.
which word is it?
It's the swiggle, it looks like a snake
Yeah.
on there, but
So there's a lot of hard structure there that defines that space that I think is hardscape. Then the stained glass pattern of shrubbery is equivalent to, let me see, get this right, 3,000 shrubs and 10,000, basically a lot of landscaping. 10,000 plants, okay?
City employees live there.
Well, Chuck made that point. Chuck made that point. We have to maintain all of this because DOT won't maintain that. And we could opt to, so that included all in, that included all these trees planted along the edges. So there are some ways to trim that down. And the what? The optics, the uplighting, I don't think that included these numbers, but I think we wouldn't want to go away from that if we could.
The estimation of cost for all.
You don't want to know. You really don't want to know. I really don't want to share that yet because it will depress us all. I think those numbers are too early.
Is it the amount of plants?
Oh, no, I think it's just the size of the area. It's a huge, if you drive that, everybody try to do that over the weekend. It's a long stretch to go all the way up, both of those on and off ramps, and then likewise.
3 times our budget that I'm investing next year.
Yeah, I need to be
So.
No, it's double.
If you have a third of.
It's double if you just did the landscaping. It's double our budget if you did our landscaping.
So if you break it down, so I heard you say earlier about the art piece, if that was between 50 and 75,000.
Well, that's Andrea's number going, we got to have something. So I need some help from our public art people that if that's a practical number or not. 50 to 75,000.
So we give AMEC some constraints.
Yes.
What can we have? Do we need to be adding wall? I like that too, but obviously that's probably going to be a significant part of the remainder, 175,000.
Right, and maybe we do just slightly less. Maybe we cut that some or not do it every.
Tree density, I don't know if you get the same effect with less density and time for it to grow in.
You got a plan of what it's gonna look like in 5 or 10 years now, not what it looks like today.
Right.
And
Allison?
my point of asking the amount, even though I didn't want to share it, thanks, Rob, was the amount of trees that would represent. So, if you think
Right.
about, if there's 10,000, trees, if we have
I don't
half as
think,
much as.
no, it's not 10,000 trees. No. That's shrubs.
On the south side alone, I think it's like 3,000 shrubs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
And then there's another tons of plant or flower plants.
yeah, daylilies and other creates them. So if you felt like the landscaping was something that they didn't get wrong, okay, that they are on the right track with, then we can work with them on cost and getting something. That we told them today, if you're going to need to. So here's what I told them. I went out on a limb and I said, now this is pending bond commission having their input and of course council. But I said for just some starters, here's what I would think is that you need to scale down a little bit of the south side, southwest, southeast, and we'll start there. We consider northwest and northeast in a future year grant or something off the plan, and then 50 to 75,000 for some sort of sculpture. Work within that. Give us something that meets that litmus test, and then let us react to it. So that's kind of where I've left it with them. But
You just want to do it H, or we actually want to do? I mean, seriously.
we do have 103 wayfinding signs going in the next 6 months that say Hickory, and I don't know that we want to be that literal. I really don't. Yeah, I think if you look, yes, exactly. That's where I got sort of re-inspired by the H's on page 9, or some version of an H that gets created into sculpture. Yes, Allison?
Is Therese, just in trying to understand the roles, is Therese a sculpture designer, or she gives the idea, and are we going to?
She gives the idea and we commission it.
An artist.
Yes.
Maybe we kind of come with these ideas.
Perfect.
Rather than
Yeah.
her trying to come up with which we want.
Yeah. What we do, well, that's right. And so that might be the way to handle it. I don't think we have to, except for just, well, you could do that with the contractor. You'd say, we've got 75,000 or 50,000. What kind of H can we have that looks
We find an artist.
interesting?
Find an artist that
Yeah.
kind of sculpture, and we start looking at it.
Yeah, I think that we're comfortable. And isn't that what she said, that we would commission it? Yeah, okay.
Consider I give them some direction on whether you're commissioning.
Right.
But we don't have to design it.
But it'd have to be engineered. I think, there's some footing and all that, lighting and all that. Okay.
And you feel there's sufficient wayfinding without this amount of money contributing toward it?
Yeah, I'm this is not a wayfinding. People have already gotten off the interstate, or they've gotten off 321 for the purpose of coming to Hickory. They're reinforcing the brand, but.
Well, I think.
Giant green sign can say you're Hickory.
Yeah, no, I think you have another opportunity at exit 125 that we haven't designed yet that can be even more wayfinding oriented or welcome to Hickory oriented. This is our 321 southern greeting, I guess, from the Charlotte traffic and points south, going north. Yes, yes, just the front door. Right, Anthony.
I think if we start thinking about it as a landmark.
A landmark. Good.
That's a better idea.
Okay, good. All right. Good. I don't want to belabor. Let's see. Gateways.
You need to give that feedback.
Absolutely. Carrie's typing notes and sort of, we'll call him. Bill Hood is actually here. Yeah, so I knew Bill was here. I forgot Bill was here. So we're just all saying what we got to say.
I like the landmark idea.
The landmark. So maybe that's a terminology that helps you too. So I think that is a good term. Good. All right. Gateways. We did that. All right. 320. Everybody comfortable with Clement and 321, knowing what we know there? They did some designs. Let's just look at that 1 second, Kyle. So flip to a page that has a.
Highlight the people that weren't there he pretty well outlined that if you did much work in Clement.
Yes, thanks, Jim.
Carry it out in 3 months anyway.
Right.
And you would have wasted your money.
Right. So so you get a sort of a snapshot of what it could look like in a couple years. Ralph, go ahead.
I just wondered, while they're putting in that bridge, although they're appropriating money for the bridge itself, are they giving any money for landscaping or anything, just a small amount even?
What would you say? No. Yeah.
Minimal, because they don't like to maintain it.
Yeah, very minimal. Nothing nice.
Grassy.
Grass. Yeah.
So they're just
Yeah. We maintain all the DOT interchanges right now. But this is what it could look like. So you could repeat the what they call the stained glass landscaping, some of the trees. You could repeat, the edging. There's a lot of things you could do. Maybe even under that bridge or on the bridge that will be constructed, the overpass, at a later time with coordination with DOT. Right, Dr. Griffith.
Just one more small question.
Yep.
Did Rob's input on like a bike lane or walking?
Yes.
Did that make it to the DOT level?
Well, it will. I haven't shared it, but I've got it captured to share. Yeah. We've got a meeting next week on that, on the 321. Okay, so so it used to say construction in 2021. Now it says design, build, construction in 2018, which is, starting. Yes, and all the lanes from Second to
The railroad track north.
railroad tracks north. Yeah,
Past the river.
past the river to Hudson.
No, they don't have one anymore.
321A. Sorry, 321A.
Really don't have any money there.
Okay. Right. But everything you know that you drive in Hickory is getting ready to be designed and built by the same firm, which is why we need to go on 321 Bridge and getting these done. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Old Lenore Road, we had planned at some point that will have some new amenities, bike lanes.
Correct.
How will that future design tie into what the DOT?
Well, so I've shared with DOT what that road section will look like. 3 lanes as opposed to 4 and a separated bike and ped lane. I've shared with them what's come out of the bond process so far, and they said they would design to whatever that future, I showed that to them. And so it's going to be just an ongoing conversation with DOT for the next few years with that whole project.
So the new bridge is going to build across the Colorado River, is that part of it?
Yes, sir, that is.
So that is, in my mind, a very important bridge.
Yes. Yes, so what we're doing there is determining if we're going to go out for an RFQ for bridge enhancement design. So or the schematics to give to DOT. So whether that's some of the firms that we've already talked to, whether that's, we're working on that. So something important that ties into the Riverwalk and the design there. So yeah, we're working on that. All right, so Kyle's going to give a quick update about Riverwalk. How do you feel about anything else we covered last week and where we are? I'm going to, just a note, we're going to get back with you on these bridges and some communication that gives you a chance to weigh in. You've got to really work hard on thinking through what you want. I don't care. I care. But I think nothing you would pick is the wrong thing at this point. It's just a matter of finding the right one. And I think we have to stay with the brand and the crafting hickory. And beyond that, I think you've got a budget that's very workable for the bridges that you saw. So we don't have that problem. All right, we'll get back to you on that. And the gateways, I think I've got some good direction on that too. Anything you want to share otherwise on that? Okay, I'm trying to keep us on schedule. All right, Kyle, you want to come up, do the Riverwalk.
So several weeks ago, we interviewed 3 firms on the staff level and our consultant, and we ended up taking that input and singling out the top firm, in our opinion. And since then, we've been having them develop a scope and fee for their design work, which turns into a negotiation of sorts. You want to make sure the scope is robust enough to cover everything, and then that the fee stays within the budget. So right now, the staff is reviewing their initial proposal for the scope, and their fee should be following shortly this week. And so we plan to meet within the next day or two to discuss our individual comments, and then return those comments to them for another iteration of scope development and fee development. Hopefully they have that into us as soon as possible. And from there, hopefully we can go through as few iterations as possible and nail down that scope and fee and take it to council for approval. And that is the general plan. If possible, we'd like to be at City Council January, hopefully. And I think that's definitely possible. Any questions? Do you want to say who? Okay, so it was the firm Design Workshop, partnering with Rosales, and then another firm out of Chicago for the structural work. They've got McGill from here in town to help them. So we were really impressed by their treatment of over-the-water feature. It's not technically a bridge, but over-the-water feature that the Rosales part of the team can come strong with, we feel like. And that was kind of what won us over. And we think they're going to be able to make it iconic.
That was the last company we...
It was.
It wasn't the last...
More to come on that. I think, we do have some bridge opportunities as a result. So we'll have a couple of ways to get all the bridges in and get our fix. All right, wrapping up. We will have another bond commission meeting, quarterly meeting, sometime in like January, February, probably February. And really, the next steps are going to be more meetings like what we just did last week. We'll have a big brainstorming meeting or scoping meeting with the Riverwalk team in late January, 1st of February. We'll be we have the new designs for gateways and City Walk and have more of those meetings. Give me some feedback. Do you want those meetings all at night? Are you okay with coming like we did the other day, coming into the parts that you can? Some of it's in the daytime, and it ends up in the evening. It's over 2 days. Was it too long last week?
Yeah.
Well, for some, it was 9 hours for some of us, but, and then it rained. But, so I mean, I don't know another way to do that without, I mean, that's how, if we were at the staff level doing this only, that would not be fun. It was more fun to have everybody there, and it just takes that kind of investment of time. So we'll try to be efficient, and we'll try to make sure you can come to another briefing like this after that in case you couldn't make all of it, or I feel like that was Burke's idea, and we appreciate the wise thinking of our chair. So I think we'll just keep it in the similar time frame. So I think early January, don't expect anything. Late January, early February, we're just going to be really busy with all this. So good. And then December 20th, City Council meeting. December 20th, 2 weeks from tonight, we will present a revised update to City Council, not we, AMAC and staff. So you'll be hearing from us. We'll hopefully have a bridge concept narrowed down by then. So good. Got great attendance last week. So if you didn't come last week, thank you for being here this week, but we feel very strongly that y'all's participation is making the difference in this process. So thank you. And welcome. So Jim, we introduced new members earlier. And we welcome you to the Bond Commission too, so as well as Sandy. So we'll have some members rotating off, so there'll be some housekeeping to do, and some that will be asked if you want to stay on. Some new members from the boards and commissions that'll get asked whether they want to stay off or on. So all that will happen in the February timeframe as well. So that'll be part of the quarterly meeting. Good. Anything else for the good of the group? Any words?
No, I appreciate everybody's time and effort, particularly staff and AMAC. What a job. I think y'all give them a hand.
Just one last commercial that we'll miss dearly. Our wonderful engineer Chuck Hansen, he's retiring at the end of the year, which is like 3 weeks away. And so December 20th, if you come to council meeting, you can come a little early, have some snacks, and wish him well at a reception. So he can join the Bond Commission.
Not from Newburgh.
Oh my goodness, thank you. Okay, enjoy your night.